In this lesson we will add inputs to our ball to make it move and bounce around the level. We will talk about variables, rigid body velocity and vectors. At this point our ball has a script already attached. In this script we are going to mostly deal with ball's movement. That will be handled by setting velocity property of rigid body component. Now let's plan a little bit what we are going to achieve. Main task: to make the ball move. For that we have to know at what speed it should move and in what direction. Let's say 1.5 meters per second and fly to the right. Now in MonoDevelop, let's draft our script. The first thing we need is to store speed value somewhere. For this purpose I will create a variable called ball speed before start function type ball speed. MonoDevelop doesn't understand such thing as ball speed, so we need to tell that it's a variable. From our code it's unknown whether it is a number or piece of text like hello world or even game object. But what kind of variable we need? We could use a whole number like 1, and in that case we would use variable of integer type, but we agreed to use 1.5. For such purpose we would require a floating point value, which leaves us with option of using decimal, double or float. They are listed in order from the most computation heavy to the fastest, decimal being the most precise and the slowest to compute, and float being the fastest. If you are launching rockets into space, you must use as precise values as possible, but for our needs, float is more than enough. So to explicitly indicate variable type, add float before the name of our variable. Obviously our statement is not over yet, and you probably know already what's missing. To complete statement, add semicolon. Doesn't matter how many times you press enter or spacebar after a line of code. If there is no semicolon, your program won't work as expected. Couple things still missing. First, let's specify default speed value. After the name of our variable, add equals sign and the default value 1.5. Equals is an assignment operator. In programming, if you want to assign value, use single equal sign. To finalize our code, put an F after the variable value. The speed is not straightforward, but thing is that compiler will think that 1.5 is a double by default, unless you type F. So yes, in a way we specify that speed is a float twice in this line. However, that's necessary. Now we have a float variable with name ball speed and default value of 1.5. How can we make sure it's 1.5? Let's ask Unity. For that we are going to use our friend print command. In start function type print ball speed and run the game. In the console you should see 1.5, so everything is working as expected. Now let's change velocity of rigid body component attached to our ball. First we have to clarify which rigid body we are going to use. For that we are going to create another variable. This time we are not using float type. To store rigid body, we need rigid body type variable. Right under our ball speed, type rigid body, and let's give name to it as ball rigid body. We know which component we want to act as a ball rigid body, but how can we tell that to Unity? Thing is that our current variable is private and nothing outside our ball script can access it. To assign value to our ball rigid body variable inside Unity editor, we should make it public first. To do that, add public before rigid body variable declaration. Back in Unity editor, under ball script, you will notice that ball rigid body is empty and has none value assigned. So just click on rigid body component and drag to our ball rigid body field. Alternatively, you can drag object with rigid body from the hierarchy pane. Or click on this circle icon and select desired object. Now our ball is all set and ready to be pushed, which is what part B is all about.